So here's another question, and this is another hot button topic, particularly in the communities that we spend a lot of time in. Sentencing disparity. Is there any policy that you can put into place, or anything that you can do to address the sentencing disparities that a lot of folks are I guess complaining about?
The Miami Herald or the Sarasota Herald. And I think this was last year sometime. And I had the same conversation with former Chief Judge Lawton.
Okay.
And, you know, Greg and I, we might dress nice, but we like to fight too.
Sure.
But here's where we really, and I know the listening audience is going to be listening to this carefully, the disparity in sentencing, and I'm going to just lay it out. You have a black guy who commits the same offense as a white guy, and when you look at the research, we're not talking conjecture here, when you look at the research, the sentencing guidelines or the sentences that were executed on the black guy were more severe. And this is research talking. This is not just Rod and Greg. So being cognizant of that.
Right.
What we're asking you, knowing that exists, what's your thought about making sure that each case is handled justly?
Well, and that is not an easy answer, and I would be lying if I told you I had the solution for that. I do have ideas on that.
Okay.
The first thing is you have to be able to accurately track that within the office. You know, you can look at national numbers, you can look at the state of Florida numbers, but my concern would be what's taking place within my office. Because I can tell you right now, if there is somebody who has racist tendencies, I will eradicate them from the earth in terms of as much as I can and get them out of the office. The problem is having the data to show somebody, because usually the way it works is that a case package will come in to an individual attorney. The individual attorney will review that case. They'll make a decision based on what they see in that case, and they'll offer a plea, and then they move on to the next case. And what you really need to do is compare all of the cases, because taking on its own, you can almost justify anything. And what I say is, there's always a reason that you can write up to say, well, this person deserves this, and that's okay. But if you start comparing it across the board to, well, okay, you did this for this person, but why did you do it for this person? And that's really the analysis that has to take place. It can't be in a vacuum. So step one, I think, is making sure that we have and we call it our case management system. It's our internal system and how we track our cases, and it's our internal system of our plea resolutions, our trial resolutions, and our sentence resolutions, is to make sure that we can run reports accurately on that topic, in terms of, so that I can physically show people, hey, this is what's going on. Because I believe that if you asked any prosecutor in my office, and I stand behind this, like, hey, do you have racist tendencies? The answer is going to be absolutely not, no way, I would never do that. But sometimes it takes pointing out something. It's the implicit biases that...
Ms. Barra, on that note, because, and I apologize for interrupting.
No, that's okay.
The truth goes a long way here, and we commend you for not just giving us fluff. We appreciate that. When I had the conversation with Judge Lawton, and our show is about being solution-driven, the one thing that he did once he reviewed that report, that research, he mentioned that he actually made the issue of implicit bias a training issue for all of his judges. So, you know, that's one of the, and you do, when you become the next state attorney, you know, that's something that, you know, we would highly recommend, because when you denote and let people become more aware of implicit bias, and I got one name for you that's traveling the country, not just the state, that's doing a great job in terms of law enforcement training as it relates to implicit bias, and you know who I'm talking about, our friend to the show, Dr. Randy Nelson, with Bethune-Cookman University School of Social Justice. Implicit bias training, making people cognizant, because when we have this conversation, it's not about a white officer having implicit bias. You can have a black officer that has. So, man, I tell you, the truth goes a long way here. We really appreciate you having this conversation.